Welcome back. The trend towards eating vegan looks like it is here to stay, but is it really healthier? And can you get everything you need from your food?
And is it better for the environment? Well, nutritionist, therapist Heather Leeson separates fact from fiction this morning. Good morning to you, Heather.
Good morning.
You're very welcome again.
Thank you.
Can we talk about vegan? It is a huge trend and it's definitely, as Laura said, here to stay. Will you define what vegan is, first of all?
It is avoiding all animal-based foods. So not just vegetarians, not just no meat, but also no eggs, no dairy, no honey, because that's from bees. So it is quite a strict diet.
Wow, okay.
And it can be quite restrictive.
So does that mean that more preparation is key if you're deciding to become a vegan?
If you want to be a good vegan, a healthy vegan, it is more work, very definitely, I mean, veganism has this idea of being, it's very, very healthy, but that actually is not always the case. And it's down to, like you were saying, or the planning and organisation. Because of course, you know, before vegans around the country object, it can be very, very healthy. It's lower incidence of diabetes, lower incidence of cardiovascular disease, etc., etc. That is because a good vegan diet is really high in vegetables, in fruit, in pulses, in nuts and seeds. And sure, they're good for all of us, not just for vegans. But of course, you can totally avoid those on a vegan diet. As it becomes more popular, there's more and more processed vegan
So this
foods.
is the junk food vegan diet you're talking about. I never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, and I actually had someone in clinic a few weeks ago who came in because he said, I'm eating a junk food vegan diet. Vegan breakfast roll for breakfast, pasta with vegan cheese for lunch, and then vegan French fries and vegan chicken nuggets or burgers for dinner. That's what he was eating. So not a single vegetable was
all
passing his
processed.
all processed. So somebody who is eating a very heavily processed vegan diet is not going to be healthier. But somebody who is eating a good vegan diet can be. So one caveat on the vegan diet is you can eat a lot of processed food. So the vegan processed cheese, for example, is often just fats that are heavily processed, not particularly healthy. Might be better to eat actual cheese in terms of health. The other thing is that we all have different nutritional requirements. So some people will suit a vegan diet and others won't because they'll just struggle to get the nutrients that they need. So we're all different. It's not going to suit everyone.
It's about how you approach it and, as you said, Laura, planning ahead. Will you talk us through some of the products you've brought along this morning, Heather?
Yeah, now these are in relation to some of the more common nutritional deficiencies because I get asked all the time, can you get everything you need from your food as a vegan? And the answer to that is you can, but it's a lot of work. So even if you are eating loads of nuts and pulses and vegetables and you're sprouting and doing all of that, it still can be very difficult to get a few nutrients.
So what would we be lacking in?
B12 is the first one that we think of because that's from meat products. There are very few plant-based sources of B12. And even if you can get it in things like some seaweed, nutritional yeast, you have to have a lot of it to get enough. Yeah, I think a lot of vegans probably rely on fortified foods like fortified dairy product, plant-based dairy products, or milk, should I say, or a supplement. And if we're supplementing, I would tend to give not just B12, but a B complex to cover yourself. But you can easily get that tested, your B12 levels. Symptoms of a deficiency would be anemia, so feeling tired. So that's kind of a red flag. If you are feeling tired on a vegan diet, you need to get yourself checked because not just vegans who are nutritionally deficient, we see people every day of the week in clinic who are having problems, but it's harder if you're vegan.
Should we all be taking that supplement, B12?
No, not at all. You should be getting it from your diet. For those of us who do eat animal products, you shouldn't need it. But some people have a genetic issue that makes it harder for them to get it. If you're tired, get it checked out. Another nutrient which we're often talking about is omega-3. Now, we get omega-3 from fish. I think most people appreciate that. You need it for hormone health, skin health, brain development and function. And if you've taken fish out of your diet, there are plant-based sources, things like, I've brought some in here, some chia seeds, some nuts, and some seeds like pumpkin seeds, linseeds. They've got good sources. They're good sources of omega-3, but they are a different type of omega-3 to what you get from fish. So your body has to convert those, and some people don't have the enzymes or the nutrients that they need, so they're going to fall very, very low. And that is a problem if you're a kid, for example, or if you're pregnant, indeed, because brain development, for example, is really important there. And there are some plant-based omega-3 supplements if you think that might be missing in your diet, but you need to find one that has got the EPA and DHA. They're the active constituents. So typically it will be an algal-based omega-3 supplement that you'll get from the health food store. And that's one thing to watch for, because when we're checking people's levels, most, if not all vegans, I've never had a vegan who's had enough omega-3 in their diet. It is very tricky to get.
And it's tricky to replace without the fish.
Yeah, really tricky to replace.
Okay. What was this, Heather?
So that's the
actual supplement.
That's the vegan. Now there is a couple of different ones, but it's worth going in and looking for the EPA and DHA.
And with iron and vitamin C as well, do vegans get enough?
Iron is a problem for a lot of people, particularly for young girls. A lot of people are low, and if you're cutting out meat, it's a little bit harder. But there you can. So things like spinach, green leafy veg. I've got some examples here. Even tofu, lentils. They're all good sources of iron, but it's a different form.
Don't you need to have like a bag of spinach or kale to actually replace a piece of meat?
It's like the omega-3. It's a different form, so you need to eat a lot to replace the meat. You can do it, and if you eat vitamin C rich foods at the same time, like you said, Laura, that's going to enhance the absorption. So if you're going to have your lentils, have them with some tomato and spinach, and you're going to get more iron from it. So it's just mixing and matching a little bit better, and not eating iron-rich foods with tea or coffee, because they inhibit absorption. So have your tea and coffee away from your food.
From your meals, okay. What about, is it kinder to the environment? We often hear this.
Well, that's kind of number one on the sustainable eating. Eat more plant-based foods. And that is true. In Ireland now, a lot of our animal agriculture is quite sustainable, but in general, yes, it is more environmentally friendly. You can reduce your carbon footprint by 50% by going vegan. But you don't have to go vegan to get the benefit. Probably for the planet, there would be more of an improvement if we all had a little bit more plant-based food in our diet. So if we all had, say, 2 or 3 plant-based meals a week, that would shift the environment, or that would help the environment.
And are you seeing a rise in people having, let's say, a meat-free Monday, or deciding to just cook vegan dishes on 1 or 2 days a week?
Yeah, and it's easier, absolutely. And I think it's a lot easier and more acceptable now. If you're eating out, there's more options. If you're shopping, there's loads more options, and it doesn't have to be complicated. You know, throwing lentils, even if you're just reducing the meat and throwing lentils into your spaghetti bolognese as well. But having a couple of plant-based meals, dinners a week, I think it's a big help. Yeah.
I suppose it's about small changes as well, isn't it? Rather than a drastic shift.
Yeah, indeed.
Being able to be consistent then.
Yeah. And then you're not struggling so much, you know, to cover those nutritional areas as a vegan. You're helping the planet and you're helping health by eating more plant-based foods.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Heather.
My
really
pleasure.
Interesting chat this morning.
And education as always. Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure.
Now, up after the break, it's International Beard Day, apparently. Hopefully, Laura and I are not included in this. We're looking after the wellness of your woolly whiskers. See you in a few.